Welcome back to my channel, Missouri. For those of you new to the page, we delve into the strange, the mysterious, the unexplained, and occasionally the downright terrifying. If you have a hunger for the paranormal, the unexplained mysteries of the world, and true tales that make your skin crawl, then you are in the right place. Before we begin today's chilling tale, if you are a fan of the eerie and the strange, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you won't miss any of our daily uploads. Today's narrative, my friends, will test your threshold for the supernatural. It's a tale with so many twists and turns that it makes even the most stalwart skeptic raise an eyebrow in disbelief. As always, I remind you that every story I tell on this channel is based on documented events. Today we venture into the heart of the most haunted house in America, the infamous Sallie house of Atchinson's, Kansas. Our story begins in the late 1980s with the young couple, Tony and Deborah Pickman, just starting their life together. The Pickmans moved into a two-story brick house on 2nd Street, innocently unaware of the disturbing history that had taken place within those walls. The house had a reputation among the locals, one that sent chills down their spines and made them cross the street rather than walk past the dark windows. The house was named after Sallie, a 6-year-old girl who supposedly died in the house during a failed emergency appendectomy performed by the resident doctor who lived there at the end of the 19th century. Sallie's spirit, it is said, never left the house. But she was not alone. The house seemed to harbor a darker entity, an entity that didn't share Sallie's innocent nature. Diving right into their experience, the Pickmans started witnessing strange happenings right from the start. Lights flickering without explanation. Objects were mysteriously moved from their original place. They would find their dog cowering in fear, staring at something they couldn't see. But these events, as chilling as they might sound, were just the beginning. One night, Tony woke up with a start. He was covered in a cold sweat, the remnants of a nightmare still lingering in his mind. He saw a little girl in his dream, who was severely injured, asking for help. The little girl was Sallie. But the reality turned out to be more terrifying than his nightmare. He found scratches on his arms, 3 lines that went down from his elbows to his wrists. They were deep and painful, but there was no explanation as to how they got there. Was Sallie trying to communicate, or was it the other entity making its presence known? In their quest to find answers, the Pickmans invited numerous paranormal investigators to examine the house, including the renowned TV personalities Ed and Lorraine Warren. They also invited psychics who unanimously identified the presence of multiple spirits in the house. Some of these spirits were harmless like Sallie, but others were not. There was a strong, malevolent force in the house, one that seemed to have a particular dislike for men. Tony became the focus of the malevolent entity. He would experience sudden bouts of anger and negativity, like he was being influenced by an unseen force. These emotional episodes often corresponded with sharp drops in the temperature around the house, strange noises, or unexplained movements of objects. The investigators also noticed these anomalies during their visits. Electronic devices would malfunction, and the batteries would drain inexplicably fast. One particularly chilling incident occurred during an investigation when the team set up a video camera in the nursery. When they played the footage back, they saw stuffed animals moving on their own, with one being flung off a chair. It was as if an invisible child was playing with them. Meanwhile, the couple started documenting their experiences and gathered evidence in the form of photos, audio recordings, and testimonies from other witnesses. All pointed to a truth that was hard for anyone to believe. The Sallie house was a hotspot for paranormal activity, and the Pickmans were at the mercy of an unseen force. The Pickmans continued to live in the Sallie house for several more years, enduring countless inexplicable and terrifying events. The haunting took a toll on their personal lives, affecting their mental health and causing significant strain on their marriage. But why did they continue to live in the house despite the terror they were facing? Tony said that he felt compelled, almost compelled by an external force to stay. But, like all things, their stay in the Sallie house had come to an end. In 1994, the couple finally moved out, but not before they held one last seance in the house. It was during this seance that the entity, for the first time, communicated directly with them and identified itself as the original owner of the house, a man who was not fond of intruders, especially male intruders. Even after the Pickmans left, the stories of the haunted Sallie house continued. New residents, visitors, and investigators continued to report strange events. There is no shortage of EVPs, cold spots, and images of apparitions. Even passerby report feeling a sense of unease when they walk past the house. The Sallie house, it seems, is still occupied by its past residents. And so, the haunting of the Sallie house remains one of America's most terrifying ghost stories, a chilling testament to the existence of the paranormal. For those brave enough to venture into its dark halls, it serves as a reminder that sometimes the most haunting tales are not those of the dead, but of the living who must endure them. In our next video, we will delve into more such eerie tales, where fact is stranger than fiction, and where the unexplained sends a chill down your spine. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our spooky stories. Until then, stay safe, stay vigilant, and as always, stay eerie, my friends.